Do you know what your question was, Mr. Hill?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Do you remember your last question?
I believe my last question was,
I just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure you didn't need to get back where you were. You know where you were.
I do, yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Welcome back, members of the jury. Everyone may be seated. All right, Mr. Hill, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Agent, where we left off was that Juan Biggerstaff had worn a wire in communications with his father. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And when he returned either to the state attorney's office or to where did he actually return after that recording session?
I think we met with him out in public.
After you had an opportunity to reconvene, did your investigative efforts provide anything specific to Mario Fernandez?
Not that I recall.
The state asked you about Juan Biggerstaff and a June 2023 police report that was filed. Do you recall that?
June 2023. Yes, sir.
And that was in regards to Juan Biggerstaff's undercover police vehicle being stolen from his home,
I believe it was his police vehicle. Yes, sir.
and that it was reported that several firearms were stolen out of that vehicle.
I believe it was two, sir.
And one of those was a Glock 27,
Yes, sir.
but it bared the serial number on what was on the report of the Glock 40, the 10 millimeter.
Yes, sir.
Now you're looking at that inventory that I showed you earlier that was produced after Mr. Biggerstaff was federally indicted.
Yes, sir.
And I asked you to identify where the Glock 40, the 10 millimeter was, and that was number 7. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And number 6, what is that?
As the Glock 27.
Okay. And that's what you understood was reported stolen, correct?
The Glock 27. Yes.
And you would agree that the serial number for the Glock 27 and the Glock 10 millimeter are right on top of each other.
Well, real quick, just to clarify, you have a Glock 27 that was reported stolen. If you're saying that that's the same one in this inventory without the serial number, I can't discern that.
And I'm not asking you to make that determination.
Okay.
You've confirmed that a Glock 27 was reported stolen by Juan Biggerstaff in Texas.
Yes, sir.
And on the report, it listed the serial number for the Glock 10 millimeter.
Yes, sir.
And you would agree on this inventory that a Glock 27 is listed immediately above the Glock 10 millimeter.
Yes, sir.
And ultimately, the jury can make a determination as to whether or not those tie to each other, but you would agree they're right on top of each other, including the serial numbers, in some occasion, almost touching each other.
Yes, sir.
You understood that Mr. Biggerstaff remained a law enforcement officer past June of 2023.
I do not know the date that he separated from his agency.
And ultimately, Juan Biggerstaff has not been arrested in connection with this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
I have a moment with counsel, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you, Agent. I don't have any further questions for you.
Redirect. Sure, I'll take it. Thanks.
Agent Stengel, Jimmy Jones was never a suspect or never discussed as a suspect between you and members of the homicide team. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Hill asked you a bunch of questions about some legal issues between the federal system and the state system. You are obviously aware that as a law enforcement officer or a state law enforcement officer or state prosecutor cannot give federal immunity.
Correct.
Mr. Hill asked you a bunch of questions about a police report.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you some follow-up ones. You mentioned in your direct that members of ATF had spoken with Juan Biggerstaff prior to your interview with John Biggerstaff in November of 2022.
I'm sorry, one more time.
You mentioned other ATF agents in Texas had conducted an interview with Juan Biggerstaff prior to your interview with John Biggerstaff or Mr. Juan Biggerstaff wearing
Yes.
a wire.
Yes.
And those same agents in Texas were the ones that alerted you to this police report in June of 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hill asked you about some details of that police report, so I want to ask you some clarifications on that. Police report Mr. Juan Biggerstaff filed was not with his own agency. It was with a separate law enforcement agency.
Correct. The Dallas Police Department.
And Mr. Juan Biggerstaff reported that his patrol car and 2 firearms had been taken from his residence.
Correct.
Where did they locate that vehicle?
I believe it was just down the street. It was same street, looked to be maybe a couple blocks down by the numbers.
And on that police report, he specifically gave the serial number of that Glock 10mm as having been stolen from his vehicle. This BBGL770.
Yes.
And he did not contact anyone involved in the Jared Bridegan homicide about this police report or about him writing this serial number on any reports.
That's correct.
You found out because ATF in Texas contacted you because his agency opened an investigation into him.
Yes.
And Mr. Hill asked you that whether Mr. Juan Biggerstaff remained employed at his law enforcement agency after this incident. He did, but he was actually placed on administrative leave pending investigation.
Yes.
And members of ATF, the agents that had previously interviewed him, went and conducted follow-up interviews on this matter.
Yes, they continued to interview him.
And Mr. Juan Biggerstaff, in fact, retained a criminal defense attorney for those interviews.
Yes.
And Mr. Juan Biggerstaff no longer works as a sworn law enforcement officer.
That is my understanding.
We have a moment.
Yes.
No further questions. Thank you, Agent.
Any follow-up?
Briefly, may I say at defense table?
Okay.
Agent, Juan Biggerstaff did not report that a 10mm Glock 40 Gen 4 was stolen. He reported a Glock 27. Is that correct?
A Glock 27 was stolen. Yes.
Okay. And a Glock 27 is not a 10mm, correct?
No, sir.
And as far as Mr. Biggerstaff and his employment with the law enforcement agency in Texas, he remained employed until he moved back to Jacksonville. Is that your understanding?
Again, I'm not sure when he separated from his agency.
And as far as when his vehicle was stolen, is it your understanding he reported it to the agency in which the jurisdiction where his home and vehicle were actually located?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so he actually reported it to the correct law enforcement office in the jurisdiction where the vehicle was and where he resided at the time.
I believe, yes, that is true. I think even the responding officers felt like something didn't add up in that.
But again, he reported a crime in the jurisdiction in which the crime occurred.
I'm thinking he did. I don't know the jurisdictional lines of where he lived.
Understood. But Agent, as you sit here, you have no reason to believe he reported it to a jurisdiction outside of where that crime occurred.
That's that's what I would believe.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Right. Thank you. May this witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor, subject to recall.
All right. Agent, do you understand what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. You can step down now. The state will call its next witness.
Calls Carlos Fong.
Carlos Fong. Mr. Fong, good afternoon. Come all the way forward.
Yeah, because of the timing, I had Mr. Fong come directly from work, so
Okay.
apologize for the dress.
No problem, no problem. All right, raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Sir, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
All right, right this way, okay? Watch your step. There's a slight incline there. All right, you may proceed.
May it please the court. Please introduce yourself to the jury.
I am Carlos Fong, last name Phuong.
Thanks. It's like you've done this before. What do you do for a living, sir?
Work for ADT as an install tech.
All right, get right to the chase. Do you know a person named Mario Fernandez?
I do.
How do you know him?
Friends from high school.
Do you see him here in court?
I do.
You say where? You're
All right.
pointing at the right side of the courtroom? Sitting next to his lawyers?
Yes.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the
Yes, sir.
witnesses identified the defendant.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you've known him for a long time. I want to turn back to the 2021, 2022 time period. Did you know his wife, Shanna Gardner?
I knew her because they were married. I didn't say I knew her, but I know her by acquaintance.
Did you ever speak to Shanna Gardner outside the defendant's presence?
No, we were always together.
Were you aware of the fact that Shanna Gardner had an ex-husband and children with that ex-husband?
I did.
Please explain to the jury what you learned from Ms. Gardner in Mr. Fernandez's presence about the relationship Ms. Gardner had with her ex-husband.
The relationship was definitely rocky.
Okay.
Your Honor, it's an adoptive admission.
Okay, let me see you at sidebar.
May it please the court.
Yes.
So, Mr. Fung, going to those conversations that you had with Shanna Gardner and Mario Fernandez in front of you, were you describing for the jury the types of things that Ms. Gardner was complaining about with regard to her child custody?
Just basically the issue they were having with the custody battles that were going back and forth to family court, things like that.
Well, describe it for the jury, what you remember.
Oh, as far as what she had told me?
Sure.
Oh, okay. She said that they were going through a nasty divorce when I first met her. That, things with her and Jared weren't well. That it wasn't pretty, mainly because of the child custody.
And did Mario Fernandez seem to go along with the flow, so to speak? Did he complain as much about Jared, or was it mostly Shanna Gardner?
Mainly Shanna. We never actually talked about Jared at all. I've asked him about him, but he never told me like, oh, this or that. No, it was never brought up.
But in those conversations with Ms. Gardner where Mr. Fernandez was present, he would just kind of go along with what Ms. Gardner was saying.
Yeah, he didn't really say anything. I mean, it was mainly her talking.
Understood. And so knowing that, then I want to turn your attention a little bit about what your knowledge of Mr. Fernandez was before he met Ms. Gardner. Okay?
Sorry, let me tell you.
No, we couldn't hear because of the cut. What was Mr. Fernandez's job before he met Ms. Gardner?
He was in the military.
Okay. And then after military?
Sorry.
After the military?
After the military, I wasn't in jobs. I think he was working at Black Hive for a little bit. He was working at Bruno's. So nothing solid. Yeah.
Do you know when he met Ms. Gardner where he was working?
He was working at Black Hive.
And what was he doing there?
He was doing maintenance, odds and things for the owner.
Okay. Is that a gym?
Yes, CrossFit gym.
Okay. And that's where Ms. Gardner was working as a coach as well.
I believe so. I don't know that.
If you don't know, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want you to speculate. And during the course of the next couple of years, did you know if Mr. Fernandez kept that job at the gym?
On and off. He'd be doing different things for the owner, but it wasn't like a full-time thing.
Did you know Mr. Fernandez to have any sort of career?
No.
I want to now turn your attention to subsequent to Henry Tenon's arrest. There were a couple of phone calls that you placed to the defendant, Mr. Fernandez. Do you remember those?
Yes, I do.
And you've had the opportunity to look at them, correct? Listen to them.
Yes, and yes.
Did you know you were being recorded?
Oh, absolutely not.
And as far as you know, did Mr. Fernandez know he was being recorded?
As far as I know, no.
Okay. I'm going to play the two calls. I think the jury will be able to figure out just based on your accent, the slight accent, who's who. But I may have to stop you in the middle. The first one, I got to get the numbers. The first one you're going to publish is going to be State's Exhibit 188, which is also referred to as call number 557.
What's up, my man? What the fuck is up, ho? What's up, damn? Where you been? Where you been at, cuz? Hey. So,
Yeah.
just checking on you, brother. What the fuck is going on with Shanna?
Well, she's across the country right now because they moved out there. Because I told you, right? We separated.
I remember you told me you got separated, but I don't know. Ruthie called me asking me about what happened with Sharon. I was like, I don't know what the fuck are you talking about. I said, I know they split, but I guess the news is I don't know what you saw. I didn't see nothing on the news, but I guess they're saying something about they think that she might have caused the whole thing about her ex-husband and shit. I don't think so, but
Nah, man. Nah.
I don't know what the story is. I said,
Yeah.
Mario Fernandez. That's why I know he's straight. He's just
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Like right now. Actually, I'm here in Jack's right now because I'm remodeling the room to my rental property, or remodeling the bathroom.
Right. You talking about your dad's old house? Or you talking about
Yeah. That one. Yep, that one. So
what are you saying, dog? Where you at?
So I've been in Kissimmee, man, and
Okay.
yeah, because my brother's down there. So
Okay.
I kind of jumped at the opportunity because I had nothing left here in Jack, so I was like, fuck it, might as well go.
Right. So what she end up doing with the house? She sold it or she just rented it
Yeah,
out?
we're selling it. No, we're selling it.
Oh.
Yeah,
You still got your Tundra, or you got rid of it?
you still got my what?
You still got the Tundra, or you got rid of it?
Oh, no, I still have that bad boy, bro.
I'm looking for one myself right now, dog.
Oh, yeah? Shit.
I'm trying to find a TRD, bro.
Ah, okay. Hell yeah.
So, but I want that lunar gray color, that fucking off gray color. That's what I
Ooh,
really want.
yeah,
I don't
sure.
think.
You saw mine, right? Because mine's all white.
No, I never got a chance to see it because I've been so fucking busy, bro.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, man. Not just checking on you because I was like, damn, let me check in this nigga. Make sure he didn't get there. I don't think.
Nah.
I don't know. I think the news misconstrued a lot of it. I don't think Shanna or you had nothing to do with that bullshit. But
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Like, no joke. So here's the deal, brother. Like, bigger picture, we never said anything from the get-go. So because we didn't say anything, the media pushes whatever they want, however they want it, and that's what's there.
What it was is when Shanna moved, they just made it suspicious. Like, why all of a sudden her ex-husband passes, or whatever happens to him, she fucking did to go across country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it was like almost a year later.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's been what? It's coming up close to a year later. Yeah.
It's gonna be a year. It's gonna be a year.
Right.
You know,
I know your ass ain't gonna have to do with it because you don't own nothing, that motherfucker, dude.
No.
Whatever he is on him.
No, bro.
Between you and I think it's bad karma, like we said from the get go when I first talked to you about it.
Yeah.
Bad karma for how he treated Shanna,
I can't tell you how many times I've had a discussion with like, I've just had random discussions with strangers on top of that, with strangers.
Yeah.
And then like, I've had people that knew him when he was like younger, when he was in like high school or something like that. Because he grew up here in Jax or whatever. Right. And they were like, I get it. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, now you're coming out and saying some shit, but it's just like, but the other part is a lot of those people, they belong to the church. So like, they don't want to say shit.
Right.
Like, fucking, they're not about to air out dirty laundry, whatever.
No.
And like now, I'm just, we'll wait to see what the fuck happens. Like, no one seems to have anything concrete. Everything is like this and that. Like, I'm just like, all right, cool. Like,
it's just like you always get caught up in this craziest shit, though, between the army and your personal life.
Dog. Bro, my sister literally said the same fucking thing, dog. She was like, how come you have such good luck with the most random things? And she was like, yeah, like you'll go out and you buy something, and then it's just like you'll get a discount, or you'll meet somebody and they know something, and then they have this and they have that, and you have access to all these things. And then it's like, but then other things happen, and I was like, I know exactly what you mean. And I think this is the balance of the universe when it comes to me, bro. Like, I just have to leave shit well alone, so like extremely bad shit doesn't happen. It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Stupid, bro. So, hey, but on a real note, on a side note, what are you averaging in your Tundra? I know you drive like a fucking madman, so.
Oh.
What you're averaging out of it.
So it does its best on the highway, 100%. Like, I can get close to like 470 miles to a full tank, and this is on standard gas. This is regular 87 pump gas.
Right.
And then around the city to a full tank, about 420 miles.
Yeah. What is their miles per gallon? Do you calculate it? Like,
no, man, I'm like not between 19 to 22.
Let the record show that there's a significant talking about cars, and certainly it's been put into evidence, but I'm going to fast forward it about 7 minutes.
Okay.
From approximately 5 minutes to approximately 12 minutes.
Now I'm starting to also like stretch out his lower back and his legs. I just stretch him out, and like he gets a little like there's a little bit of pain, but then as soon as I like get him like stretched out, like you could like he's lively. Like it all comes back. He's like, oh fuck, I'm ready to move. Like, let's go.
What are you talking about now?
I don't know what we're talking about at that point. I know we jump conversations. I'm so random. So it went from trucks. I don't know where it went to from the trucks to that. I think he was talking about the dog, but I could be wrong.
Sugar then.
I think so, but I can't tell you 100% what that was. That's the only thing I was talking about, stretching out his back and stuff, because Zero was older. He's big, husky-sized dog.
Okay.
So yeah, man, he's doing all right.
Yeah. That's good, man. Yeah, I just want to make sure you didn't call with no bullshit with that whole situation. Because Ruth had called me about it. I said, I don't news, but I'll call him. I'm double check on my boy. I'm pretty sure he would have called me if he shit was gonna go down.
Yeah, man, I would have told my people here, like, hey, like, you know, but you never know, bro. Like, I had mentioned this, because like last year, someone told, bro, I had people apologizing to me because the way our family got painted, it was like they're looking at Anna for obvious reasons, and then they're looking at me for obvious reasons. But then on top of that, they were like harping on stuff, and then like people, I had strangers apologize to me for media racism. Like people were on social media being racist towards me, and I don't watch the news, so I didn't pay attention to it. You know, it's like I was just like, well, you know, like all I could say was like, well, racism is real. You know, like I live with it, I understand it. What I don't want to happen is some bullshit for whatever reason happens, and then they look at me on just the inclination because I'm fucking Hispanic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I have to fucking go through this round robin circle of bullshit because okay, well,
the military,
you fit this profile and stereotype. So fucking now we gotta do shit with you, and it's just like, like that's the one thing, dude. I haven't talked to Ruth in years, bro.
Yeah, I know.
How's she doing?
Okay, obviously the entire call is played in, but I don't think the state needs to publish any more of that. We'll now go to the second call, and I guess I didn't make it clear. Mr. Fung asked a question. These calls took place January 24th and January 25th of 2023. Approximately.
Yes, sounds about right. Yeah.
We'll now publish State's Exhibit 189.
Oh, hold on, brother. Hey, what's up, man?
You in private?
What's that?
You in private?
Yeah.
So, I guess something broke out today about that whole situation we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So, they arrested some guy that used to rent the Northside house.
I know.
I was like, what the? So I guess he thought it was you. Because I think the motive was after you, not her husband. Her ex-husband.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Or
yeah.
oh, dude, no way. You think so?
But he rented your house, so he must have had some. So he probably didn't pay you, kicked it off, something like that.
I mean,
remember this. You know, it's a possibility of that area.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way though. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I haven't pulled up anything. I haven't read anything.
No, I don't.
You know.
So, hold on.
But
I'll give you the gist. Hold on.
Yeah.
So the gist of it is basically who the person they found was.
Mhm.
He stayed at that rental property.
Right.
With you and what's face. So all of a sudden so he's the one that did it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but the only thing you can obviously Steve's been. It's just weird. I'm just speculating at this point. So
Yeah.
I think he knows where y'all live because everything's public record now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So he probably thought that was you, but not realizing who it was. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think if you wait for your console, but they showed a picture of him, older black guy. That's all.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing though. Like he was working for me for a bit. like after it.
Oh, really? For real?
Yeah, yeah. Like he helped me. Like that's a fucking quarter-acre lot, and like he did a lot of fucking work, dude. Like he fucking took down trees and shit, and fucking mowed that bitch, and then he did roofing. Like, so I don't fucking get it.
So between you and I, you never talked to him about Shanna. You don't know nothing about Shanna's ex-husband, right?
No, like no, like they're. I'm trying.
No
to,
reference.
I mean, I'm honestly trying to remember, like, I have to like think of like any recollection of
Right. Right.
of any conversations I'm gonna have with the dude. But it's
you
like,
wouldn't have, but you wouldn't have you wouldn't have any pictures of him or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no,
You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't know anything about that.
yeah, no,
It's just
fuck no.
crazy. It's just crazy. All of a sudden, they go to blaming Shanna for it, and all of a sudden, next day, literally they broke out saying they arrested somebody for his murder. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this bullshit? Yeah,
I don't know,
won't
dude.
get into it, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, 100%,
What the
100%.
fuck is going on, dude? I'm so twisted right now.
Yeah. Like I'm waiting to see how it's gonna turn out because I already have media reaching out to me and stuff, and it's just like there's nothing for me to say right now because there's nothing for me to say. No, I'm not going to. Yeah. No, fuck no, bro. Like, it's just another day in the shit show, dude.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a heads up. Because they're gonna come because all the way they're portraying things like, okay, this guy used to stay at your house. Either he was one or two things. Either they're gonna play like he was bad because he left the house, he couldn't afford it no more, and you kicked him out, or they're saying that because you helped him, that you had him to do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, and that was actually like, because I remember it was like, bro, it was like October or maybe before that. Because, after COVID and everything else, this was a fucking shit show. It was actually, it was after COVID that everything was a shit show. And like, I was working with him. So like, like, all right, well, if you don't have rent right away, like, just, you can pay like week by week kind of deal, but you got to make it up. And then I want to say it was either September or October timeframe. Maybe it's so fucking long ago now that he flat out told me, he's like, I can't fucking afford it anymore. He just couldn't.
So he just left. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, the thing was, I told him, I was like, well, how about, what can you afford? And like the dude was like grabbing up like 300. And then I told him, I was like, okay, if this is where you're at, I can give you till December. And after December, like that's it. And the thing was like, I had a new tenant come in January.
Right.
So
I said, there's no disagreement between y'all.
no.
So
No.
Help his ass out.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like I helped the dude out, and then after that, like I remember for like all the shit that he did for the place and everything else, I remember reaching out to him. I was like, hey man, you want to fucking knock out some work and make some money? Because every estimate I was getting, like, dude, bro, just to do, like, somebody gave me an estimate for a single tree, and it was like $3,000, and I was like, yeah, no, go fuck off, dude, no fucking way, you know what I mean? So I was like, hey, you want to fucking knock off some branches and fucking plow this bitch to the ground? And that's what he fucking did.
But you got rid of that property now, didn't you?
Yeah, I fucking sold it.
Right. You gotta do that too.
Yeah, I had to do what I had to fucking do. So, oh man, yeah, I'm waiting because, that way we can see what the fuck's gonna happen.
Before,
Yeah.
I say, just keep your keep your eyes peeled, dog, because them motherfuckers are fucking vultures. All the motherfuckers are.
Oh, dude, 100%, man. This shit's gonna
I mean, they following Shanna all the way in fucking Washington State. They talking about they saw her get out of the grocery store. And shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like they for sure they're gonna follow your ass too. So keep your eyes peeled.
Oh, 100. Yeah. Oh, I know. Like, I'm not the one though.
Right.
I'm
saying. I know, but the way they're portraying it, I don't. Right as of right now, they're not gonna say nothing, but they're gonna dig farther. I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
They're already.
Yeah. They're gonna paint it however they're gonna want to paint it, and then obviously it comes down to whatever the fuck, is said afterwards. So.
Exactly. Yeah. From what I didn't dig too far. I just saw it like.
Yeah.
Sitting in my van eating lunch. What the fuck? fuck? Let me just give me a heads up real quick.
Yeah, dude.
It's just the whole thing is just funny because from the outside perspective looking in, that's
Mhm.
the way I see it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, you know, if
Yeah.
nobody knew you,
It's a 50-50 swing looking at it that way. But the other part, it's actually not even. It's more like it's like a three-way split, because then
right,
there's this guy, then there's me, then there's Shanna,
right,
and then
yeah.
like, you know, unless somehow the widow fucking is tied to this man somehow, like I don't fucking know.
I think old girl, his family is digging. They're one hand.
Oh, I bet, but
Yeah.
but it's not because they're interested in what happened to the guy. They just want to do it out of spite,
Right.
you know.
Right. Yeah.
Ah, fuck. Here we go.
Crazy.
No,
All right, but let me get back to.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to give you a heads up.
yeah, I'm about to head out and fucking get back to work. But all right, bro.
To get
Thank you.
back to it about. All right, bye.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
All right, thank you. Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Good. Oh, sorry.
You and Mr. Fernandez are friends, correct?
Yes.
State asked you, you didn't know you were being recorded.
Nope.
He didn't know he was being recorded.
I'm sure he would have said something.
I know it's obvious, but you called him. He didn't call you, right?
Correct.
And it was because you heard some stuff about the media, right?
Right.
Would you agree that most of what you were talking about was what the media was reporting? You were telling him, and then he was responding what he had heard through the media?
Correct.
Okay. And did you think that he made any admissions to you?
No.
Did he seem different on that phone call than he had seemed any time before?
No. We're normal.
In the first call, you start talking about that the media is reporting something with Shanna, the wife, right?
Right.
He tells you they had separated. That was true, correct?
Correct.
He tells you that she moved across the country. That's true, correct?
Correct.
Did he seem concerned that you were asking about this?
No, because he would have told me out like, what, it's not your problem.
Right.
It's just Mario's that type of guy. Yeah.
And he chatted with you to the extent that he knew anything, right?
Correct.
And then he started talking about like Toyota Tundras, right?
We talk about trucks. That's all we talk about is trucks outside of life. But yeah,
Right.
trucks a lot.
On that whole call, I mean, the state decided to fast forward, and it's their evidence and their direct examination. They can do whatever they want. But there's like 7 or 8 minutes where you guys are just talking about you wanting to buy a Toyota Tundra and him owning a Toyota Tundra and gas mileage and modifications and friends of yours that were in the military. You guys were talking about all sorts of stuff, right?
Correct.
Okay. And never one time did you feel like he admitted anything to the participation in the death of Jared Bridegan, correct?
Correct.
Before I get to the second call. Oh, and Mr. Fernandez owned dogs,
Yes, he had one.
one big dog,
Yeah.
and he was a little older, right?
Yeah. Zeros like 10, maybe 11 at that time.
And at one point on the call, you guys were just talking about how that dog was doing, right?
Yeah, because I know he, I hung out with the dog. I knew the dog well, and as they get older, a bigger dog, they get stiff and arthritis and things like that.
Okay. And Mr. Mizrahi started saying that while you were friends, there were times or a time where you were around Miss Gardner where she was griping about the co-parenting issues she was having with Jared Bridegan. Do I understand that correctly?
Correct.
But do I also understand that Mr. Fernandez never talked to you about that?
I never cared to know his side of the story. I never asked.
And he didn't seem to really care, right?
To my opinion, no.
I mean, he wasn't, in fact, you specifically said, he didn't jump into the conversation and start dogging Jared Bridegan, right?
No.
He just sat there and listened to his current wife griping about her ex-husband. Do I understand that correctly?
Correct.
You think that's unusual that an ex-wife gripes about her ex-husband? Or excuse me, a wife gripes about her ex-husband?
Depending on how bad a divorce was, yes.
And she told you it was bad, right?
She did.
Okay. She didn't hide that from you, right?
Nope.
Okay. So then there's a second call the next day. You had learned through the media that Henry Tenon had been arrested.
Correct.
And then you called Mr. Fernandez and you asked him, they're saying that guy used to live in one of your properties, right?
Correct.
Did he deny that to you?
No.
Was he like, I don't know this guy?
No.
Was he like, did he try to distance himself from Mr. Tenon?
No.
In fact, he told you that Mr. Tenon did work for him after the homicide, correct?
Correct.
You had no idea that you were being recorded, right?
No clue at all.
Mr. Fernandez, to your estimation, had no idea he was being recorded, correct?
Correct.
And he just happened, and this phone conversation is about 11 months after the homicide, correct?
Yes, the time frame. Yeah, sounds about right.
And he just happens to tell you, man, this guy did some landscaping for me, right?
Correct.
Did you know that the checks, there's 3 checks in this case, that Mr. Fernandez wrote to Mr. Tenon? The memo line of one of the checks is landscaping. Did you know that?
I saw it on social media, but he didn't tell me exclusively, no.
But he did tell you that he did landscaping work.
Correct. Correct.
So 11, many, many months. The checks were written in March after the homicide. He told you he did work for him after the homicide, correct?
Correct.
And then he told you that he did roof work in the call, correct?
Correct.
Did you know that the checks that are in evidence that the jury will see in this case are for roofing?
I didn't know.
Right. But that would be consistent with what Mr. Fernandez told you, wouldn't it?
Correct.
And a call that he didn't know he was being recorded on, right?
That's correct.
You said Mr. Fernandez didn't have much of a career, but Mr. Fernandez did own rental properties, right?
Correct.
And he worked on those rental properties, right?
All the time.
And in fact, on the very first call, he told you, I'm doing tile work right now, and you could hear the scraping. He apologized for the scraping because he was talking and working, right?
Correct.
It's no secret that Shanna Gardner's family was extremely wealthy, correct?
I honestly did not know that until all this came out.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have a clue.
So while Mr. Fernandez was married to Shanna Gardner, he lived a pretty comfortable life. Is that fair to say?
Well, 100%, yeah.
Okay. But he didn't brag about it or talk about it, or it didn't change the same guy that you knew from high school.
Not at all.
And you're still friends with Mr. Fernandez to the extent that you can be, right?
Yes.
In the second call, did he seem overly worried to you?
No, stressed maybe, but not worried.
Because the media was talking about his involvement because Mr. Tenon used to live at one of his rental properties, right?
Correct.
Did he seem evasive?
No,
Did he
definitely
seem
not.
like he was hiding anything?
No.
He was candid about knowing Mr. Tenon?
Say that
He
question.
was
one more time.
candid. He was open with
Yes.
you and saying, yeah, I know this guy.
Correct.
Did he tell you I had nothing to do with it?
Correct.
And at the end, when he's saying like there's 3 people involved, it could go 3 ways. He was talking about how the media was portraying it, right?
That's correct.
Not that he was involved, him, Shanna Gardner, and Henry Tenon. That's not what he was telling you, right?
No.
And that's not what you're telling this jury.
Correct.
May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
He also did tell you, I'm trying to remember, because it had been a long time, he didn't remember like every detail, right?
Right.
So if he didn't tell you every detail about his relationship with Mr. Tenon, it was just, he admitted, he's like, I'm trying to think back to my conversations with the guy, right?
Correct.
Guess this is obvious, but during the time that Shanna Gardner was talking and griping, Mr. Fernandez was there, you never heard anybody threaten Jared Bridegan, correct?
No,
You never heard anybody trying to plan his murder, correct?
no,
Nobody ever asked you to provide a firearm in connection to this murder.
absolutely not.
Mr. Fernandez never asked to change cars with you, or he never asked you in any way to participate or cover for him in this homicide.
No,
And lastly, when you said, "Hey, where are you at, man?" He told you, "I'm in Kissimmee, Florida," right?
correct.
Where does his brother live?
Kissimmee.
That add up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And he was still working on another rental property that he owned at the time because he had sold Potomac,
Correct,
because Mr. Fernandez owned more than one rental property, right?
correct.
And before he met Miss Gardner, he had rental properties, correct?
He did.
So it's not some like miraculous gift that he got because he managed Jared Gardner. That was kind of the business he was in.
Correct,
And then he supplemented his income by working at gyms or doing handyman work and things like that.
correct.
Thank you very much, Mr. Funk.
Thank you. Mr. Mizrahi?
If it's called, well, to those medical properties, you know about two of them, right? Two
Yeah.
rental-
Yes, correct,
One is White Forest, which is in the Sandywood area, which used to be the defendant's house.
correct.
And then the other is the Potomac downtown.
Oh, but I've never been there. I don't, I'm assuming. Correct, yeah.
That's the one that Mr. Tenon was,
From what he was telling me, yes, sir.
what he was talking. I understand.
Yeah.
Do you know what the income was from those homes?
I have no clue.
It wasn't like multi-family dwellings with like dozens and dozens of tenants.
No, no, there were single homes.
Single homes with one or two bedrooms.
Correct,
And certainly he has to supplement his income by doing other hustle, work, correct?
let me ask that question again.
He has to supplement his income, not with him being able to support.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He had come up, side jobs, things like that.
So, Mr. Dreiser asked you about the checks for landscaping and for roofing.
Right,
In the call, you would agree that the call speaks for itself.
correct.
Is there any hidden language that y'all are speaking or anything like that?
No, definitely not.
So in the call, the defendant said that there was no way he was gonna pay $3,000 to remove a tree. Remember that?
Correct.
That's all the question.
May the witness be excused.
The witness may be excused.
Thank you, Mr. Fong.
Thank you.
All right, members of the jury, we're going to take a short recess, okay? Leave your notepads on your chair. We'll come back.
Well, I'm still alive.
See,
Good seeing you, Sonny.
say 3:45, okay? Please let the record reflect the jury's left the courtroom. The court's in recess until 3:45. Thank you. Are both sides ready? Okay. I didn't want anybody to stand. Sometimes I like to sneak in, sneak out.
If you could give Shannon any time away from our office and put her in jail, she'd probably take it.
Volunteer submission. Do we need to get the gallery back in, right? I like to keep y'all guessing. Need to get Mr. Holman. He's holding in the hallway. Thank you. Right. Welcome back, members of the jury. Everyone may be seated. Ms. Stifler, call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. State calls Agent Bobby Blythe.
Agent Bobby Bly. Good afternoon, Agent. Please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Agent, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
All right, thank you. This way. Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please introduce yourself to our jurors?
Good afternoon. My name is Bobby Blythe. I'm a special agent with the FBI here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Agent Blythe, how long have you worked for the FBI?
For about 18 years, since June 2008.
And what is your current position with the FBI?
I'm a special agent with the FBI. I'm a part of the FBI's cellular analysis survey team. I'm a full-time member of that team, and I'm embedded or detailed here to a violent crimes task force in Jacksonville, Florida.
And you mentioned what we're going to refer to as CAST, Cellular Analysis Survey Team.
Yes.
Can you describe for the jury how long you've been a member of the CAST team?
I was certified as part of the cellular analysis survey team CAST in 2022. I started my training process in June 2019. And during that time from 2019 to 2022, worked with an already certified field asset and went through all of our training processes.
Your previous positions with the FBI?
So my first field office assignment was in New Orleans, Louisiana. I worked a variety of criminal investigative matters from financial crimes to public corruption investigations and civil rights investigations there. And in 2018, I transferred to Jacksonville field office and continued to work on criminal investigations. And in 2022, started working primarily violent crime investigations.
Can you explain to the jury what CAST is?
CAST is a group of about 100 special agents and task force officers across the FBI's field office that specialize in the analysis of phone-based location information and historical cell site location information, the information that comes from the cellular providers that make your cell phones work. We train other investigators, state and local law enforcement, other federal agencies, how to do this kind of work, to use this technology to further investigations, to find phones and the people they belong to. We also help real time on cases to find people, whether it be suspects of crime, missing persons, such as a kidnapped child. And we also work on historical investigations, looking back to see where a phone was or device was in relation to a set of circumstances. And we also provide testimony in court regarding our findings.
And you mentioned someone earlier testified about being CAST trained. Do you train other law enforcement agencies outside of the FBI in how to do this type of analysis?
Yes, every year I teach multiple basic classes, a 2-day class to state, local, and other federal law enforcement officers and crime analysts on how to do this type of work, what kind of records you can get from the cellular providers and social media companies to obtain location information to help in an investigation. We also teach an advanced class to state, local, and federal law enforcement as well. And we're required to do so to maintain our professional standards.
What's your educational background?
I have a bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of North Florida with a major in accounting. I worked in public accounting for 3.5 years after graduating from UNF. And I did some post-baccalaureate work to be able to sit for the CPA exam. And I became a certified public accountant during that time as well.
How did you get into this transition from that type of work with the FBI into CAST?
So I knew an FBI agent that I met when I was in high school, actually, and kept up with him through college. I was recruited, went through the application process and joined in 2008 and went through new agents training.
In order to be a member of the CAST team, can you briefly describe for the jury what specialized training you have to receive related to mobile device location analysis, both historical and real time?
So we go through over 300 hours of classroom and practicals based training, basically going from a basic class to an advanced class, a critical incident readiness exercise that simulates a command post environment. Let's say there's a child abduction or a mass shooting, and we're trying to identify a suspect device and track that device. So we simulate that in an exercise. We also go through a 4-week certification course that includes a class from a PhD professor from the Florida Institute of Technology in radio frequency theory as it relates to cellular networks. And we go through the technology from the infancy of cell phones, 1G, all the way to 5G, what's currently deployed. And what's special about it is we also receive training directly from the cellular providers, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and US Cellular, from both their network engineers and their court order legal compliance personnel to tell us about the technology they have deployed, how their networks work. We can ask them questions, and they tell us about what kind of records they keep and how to obtain them.
Approximately how many times in your career do you believe that you have analyzed call detail records with location information, historical, I'll start with that, historical records?
More than several hundred times.
And have you ever in your career tracked successfully a suspect or missing person using these records in real time?
Yes, numerous times.
Can you give us an example? I know recently you tracked a suspect in a local shooting at the Players Championship course.
Yes, there was a double homicide near the Players Championship this year. We were able to track the suspect's device to an area within a very short period of time of providing that information to investigators. They were actually able to locate the abandoned phone and see where that was located, and then we're moved on to exploiting other means to try to locate that suspect. I've also located missing endangered children who've been kidnapped, the suspects involved in those kidnappings, missing persons who've been deceased, to find their remains, and also been able to verify where suspects of crime have been looking backwards by seeing where their device was and then corroborating that by pulling video at that location or seeing them on surveillance.
And you mentioned that part of your job duties are also to testify in court. How many times have you testified in court related to your work as an expert witness?
About 55 jury trials in state and federal court.
Your Honor, at this time, the state is intending to elicit opinion evidence from Agent Blythe as an expert in his field, and I would allow the defense any voir dire.
Any questions?
Oh, no questions, and we agree that he's an expert in his field.
Okay, you may proceed.
Agent Blythe, we're going to give the jury a little bit of an education. Can you explain how cell towers work?
Yeah, so on the left, you can see 4 common configurations of cell phone towers, as they're commonly called in our area. There's a traditional metal pole with 3-sided array of antennas on top that you can see at the top left. They can be disguised as a fake tree or other items. There's a flagpole on the top right, or they can be mounted on different sides of a rooftop to create the 3 sides of a traditional cell phone tower. On the right side, you'll see a diagram. It shows the directions on a compass, north, south, east, and west, and also shows the degrees. At the center, you'll see an overhead image of a cell phone tower from above. There's a dot at the middle of that. So on the maps you'll see today, you'll see a dot like that. That represents the exact location on Earth of the base of that cell phone tower. And then you'll also see these wedges here that represent the outline of a sector as designed by the provider to give coverage in a specific geographic area. Those sectors or sides of the tower are aimed in a particular direction called an azimuth. They use the degrees on a compass to aim the center of those sectors. And so I use that information about where the tower is located and how they're aimed, how many degrees on a compass that the center line of that sector is aimed to create a visual representation of the cellular network activity for that device and an approximate location.
And I should mention that this is States Exhibit 182. This is the introductory slides in your report, which we'll get to in a moment.
Yes.
So the towers are divided into sectors. How does the division into sectors produce location data in call detail records or call records?
So most of the towers in the United States are divided into 3 sectors. So if we only had the tower, we could just draw a dot on a map and say the phone used that tower. But with sector information, we know which side or sector of the tower the phone used at a given time for a specific communication. So we can draw that outline of that sector and show what side of the tower the phone used, which shows a more precise location than just knowing that the phone used the tower by itself. And also just wanted to point out that on the sectors you'll see drawn, there's this arch and a shaded area on the inside. That's simply meant to emphasize the direction of coverage that's being provided by that sector and doesn't indicate the exact location or coverage area of the tower or the location of the exact location of the phone.
So on this next slide, is this how you display what you were just speaking about, that coverage location direction?
Yes, this is one of those sectors plotted on a map. You see the green dot that represents the location of the cell phone tower. And then the red wedge indicates which sector, in this case, the sector pointed at 0 degrees true north, that the phone used for that particular event. You'll also see other towers on the map. Those are there as a point of reference. We call them reference towers. It's other towers in the cellular network that weren't used at that specific time, but they help aid in the estimation of the coverage area of the towers and sectors that were used.
Does a cell phone or device always select the closest tower?
Not always, but it usually does. Cell phones are constantly scanning their environment, measuring signal strength and quality, and the phone itself for incoming or outgoing phone call actually picks the tower with the best signal. That usually ends up being the geographically closest tower, but there can be exceptions, such as man-made or geographic barriers in between your phone and the line of sight to the closest tower.
What we're just talking about is what we would consider cellular location data. So can you explain to the jury what the difference between cellular location data is and something called timing advance data.
So cell site data, or call detail records with cell site, let's say a phone call, you have information about the tower and what side or sector was used on that tower for that phone call. Timing advance is a different data set that provides a calculated distance that the phone was from the base of the tower. So with that information, we can draw that calculated distance across that 120-degree sector. And we, for the 4G context technology, we map those as 78 meters wide. And so you draw that 78-meter wide band or arc across the sector. And the majority of the time, you'll find that phone inside that shaded area. The way that works is that the tower sends a signal from the tower to the phone, and the phone relays it back to the tower. The network runs a stopwatch on that relay. And then you use a simple equation to calculate the distance that the phone was from the tower based on how long it took the signal to get to and from the phone. The reason that's there is you can think of a crowded movie theater. Let's say there's an emergency in the theater, like a fire, but there's only one exit. If everyone goes out that one exit tries to go out at the same time, there'll be a tragedy. If there's someone to designate who goes out, which row goes out at what time, sequentially, then everyone can get out safely. It tells the phones when they have to send signals so that they arrive within the right time window. It's critical for cell phones to work. The cellular providers have, in our training, have told us that for your cell phone to operate and function, timing advance has to work. And it provides much more precise location information than just tower and sector.
So I want to kind of break this down for the jury. If we're talking about cellular location information, does that require somebody to be actively using, meaning either sending or receiving text messages or making or receiving phone calls to generate data of which tower and sector is being used?
No. So although timing advance can be created based on phone calls, data sessions, or text messages, it's also independent network signaling independent of any user initiated activity.
So if you were looking for active cellular usage, someone would have to be using their phone to create that activity. But if we're talking about timing advance, my phone can be sitting here without me doing anything on it, without receiving any texts or calls, and it still can be creating those timing advance measurements to the cell tower.
Yes.
Okay. When you are mapping cell phone data, what kind of records do you need in order to do that?
So in the productions from the cellular providers, we need the call detail records with cell site, the data sessions with cell site, if it's available, the timing advance files. And we also need a cell tower list, a list of from the provider that gives the locations of all the towers and other information about the tower and the sectors, like what direction that each side of that tower faces.
And in this case, and many of your cases, do you receive those records from the cell phone providers via search warrant?
Yes.
The government or law enforcement, a state, we can't just subpoena them. They have to be through a search warrant issued and approved by a judge.
Correct. The legal standard for quite some time now is that it requires a probable cause search warrant from a judge to obtain this historical cell site location information. Because it allows one to track the movements of one's device.
So in this case, did you analyze both cell tower location information, meaning these maps here on page 5 that show what azimuth and what sector of a tower is being used, as well as timing advance showing that same information but with a distance from the tower? Did you have both types of data available to you in this case?
Yes, for one of the devices.
Do phone companies keep this timing advanced measurement data as long as they keep other cellular data?
No, they don't.
Do you know what the retention periods are for cell providers in general?
I do, yes.
And what are those?
So for timing,
Okay. Or do you want to ask a,
I mean, I can ask it differently.
okay.
Have the retention periods for these carriers changed since 2022?
Yes,
Do you know what they were in 2022?
yes.
And what are they? What were they in 2022? Let's start with T-Mobile. What was their retention rate in 2022?
For timing advance, it was 90 days.
So if an officer does not get a search warrant for a specific phone number because they haven't identified it or it's not part of the investigation, 90 days after an event, timing advance would not have been available for a T-Mobile number in 2022.
No.
What about AT&T in 2022?
In 2022, AT&T did not produce timing advance information to law enforcement pursuant to search warrants. They've since have begun doing so.
Did you receive another type of data to analyze in this case, Google location history?
Yes, I did.
And can you explain to the jury where Google location history comes from?
So Google location history comes from the phone's operating system, the location services function on your phone. The phone is a very smart device that has a function feature called location services. The applications running on the phone are constantly asking location services, assuming it's turned on, for location information. The Weather Channel app needs to know what part of town generally you're in, so it asks for a more broad or more approximate location. But when, let's say, you get in Google Maps and want to navigate to a specific location, it wants the best location information, which is going to be usually your phone's GPS receiver or Wi-Fi based location information. So when the applications on your phone or using Google products themselves are querying the phone's operating system for locations, those locations are provided to the applications. If you're opted in to timeline or location tracking with Google, then that information at this time was transmitted and stored in Google servers, and it's also stored on in your phone's operating system.
So we have three types of data available in this case. You have your cell tower information, like we see here on slide 5, timing advanced data that you mentioned you were able to obtain for one of the numbers you analyzed, and Google location history. Can you explain to the jury, I'll start with this one. How precise is this data, and can you provide an exact location for device, beginning with cell site location information?
So tower and sector, cell site information is an approximate location. Well, how approximate? It depends on the tower density of the geographic area you're located. If you're in downtown Los Angeles, California, where there's towers every 2 or 3 city blocks or more, it's very precise. It narrows it down to a much smaller area. If you're in a rural area where towers are 8 to 10 miles apart, it's a much more broad area if you just have tower and sector. So during let's say a phone call, and you have the tower and sector or side of the tower that was used, the phone has to be somewhere inside the coverage area for that tower and sector. And that's in many ways defined by the tower density.
So if you have cell site location information, you would be able to say that a cell phone is somewhere in this coverage range for this direction for this tower.
Yes.
For timing advanced, how much more precise or how much more exact can you give a location for a specific device?
Yeah, so we know that generally the phone's going to be somewhere inside the shaded area of the 78-meter wide band that we can draw across that sector based on the calculated distance. And we also know that the phone, because of various variables in the real world, we know that the phone could be 1 to 2 bands inside of that.
And then for Google location history, can you provide a more precise or more exact location for a device with this type of data?
Yeah, so this in Google oftentimes is able to assign or show a confidence radius for the location based on which is in many cases related to the source of that location information. GPS, global positioning system data, being the best, usually 3 to 10 meters. So that's going to be a much more precise location on Earth about where that phone is. So let's say you have a 10-meter confidence radius location. You have a latitude and longitude. You can draw that specific point on a map, and then you would go 10 meters out on one side from that location, and then draw a circle all the way around that location. That's the confidence radius, and you can see an example of that here on the right.
Thank you, Agent. In this particular case, did you receive phone records, including cellular location history, timing advance, and Google data specific to 3 phone numbers and 1 email address?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Actually, I'm going to use the evidence card for this. Agent, I'm showing you Exhibit 206. This is a chart of phone numbers and email addresses. It's been entered into evidence. And
Is it published?
yes, been entered into evidence. So we're beginning with, was one of the numbers, one of the phone numbers and associated individuals records provided to you, the phone number here, 904-566-2633, belonging to a Mario Fernandez?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you also receive 2 phone numbers belonging to 2 different devices with 2 different IMEIs for an individual by the name of Henry Tenon? And the numbers here, 904-801-7612, 904-442-0513.
Yes, ma'am.
And were you also provided Google location information for an email address, henrytenon53@gmail.com?
Yes.
And lastly, were you provided cellular location information for an individual by the name of John Biggerstaff at 904-517-6322?
Yes.
Mr. Biggerstaff had an AT&T phone number, so you did not have the ability to obtain timing advance data for him. Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
And for Mr. Fernandez, you received a 30-day time period, or I think a few different time periods of timing advance data, as well as cell site location information.
Yes.
For Mr. Tenon's phone numbers, you received cell site location information.
Yes, that's correct.
And Mr. Fernandez and Mr. Tenon both had T-Mobile phone numbers.
Yes.
And then Google data, how long in 2022 was that data retained, the location data?
Well, it depends on the user. So the user, I've seen in investigations, even in my own location history, exploring this myself and my own data, it can be there for years.
There is more control because it's not held by a third party. It's actually contained in your phone or your Google Cloud. You can delete data if you want. You can retain it. You can alter the retention lengths yourself for that type of data.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to show you some items that were provided to you to do your analysis, beginning with State's Exhibit. Stickers are covered up. 180. These are the disc with a letter from AT&T for toll records for John Biggerstaff.
Yes, ma'am.
State's Exhibit 179, toll records and a certification from T-Mobile for Henry Tenon. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then a disc of toll records and a T-Mobile certification for the phone records and timing in advance records for Mario Fernandez.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you also received Google data, location data from a Google return from Mr. Henry Tenon, State's Exhibit 181.
Yes.
And lastly, the detectives provided you as well to include in your mapping some license plate reader reports from the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office for a specific date, January 29th, 2022.
Yes, that's correct.
Using the records in front of you, did you plot maps for the cell phone numbers for the individuals Mario Fernandez, Henry Tenon, and John Biggerstaff, as well as the Google data for Mr. Tenon?
Yes.
Are you also provided by the detectives that request you to do work geographic points of interest, specific addresses, or longitudinal and latitudinal positioning?
Yes.
And in this case, were you provided some addresses to include 1511 Marsh Inlet Court, a longitude and latitudinal coordinates associated with an area called Pablo Hamlet, 5239 Potomac Avenue, Elite Gymnastics, St. Johns County, 182 Fresnel Lane, and 2180 Derringer Circle?
Yes.
When you receive those phone records that you have up there, states 178, 179, 180, if the jury were to open them, they would see the time and dates of the cellular activity and timing advance is in something called UTC. Can you explain
Yes.
to the jury what UTC means?
UTC stands for Universal Coordinated Time, for short, and you can think of it as being similar to Greenwich Mean Time. So to get from UTC time to local time here, this time of year we subtract 4 hours. During standard time, after we fall back, you subtract 5 hours.
And did you make those adjustments when mapping this data?
Yes.
When you're mapping data for the time period at the top, do you include all or most of the cellular data for that time frame in your mapping?
Yes, unless I indicate otherwise.
And if there is no data for a specific time period for a phone, did you also indicate that on these maps?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're going to go through your report. It states Exhibit 182. Did you prepare these maps in conjunction with a request from the Jacksonville Beach Police Department regarding the murder of Jared Bridegan?
Yes.
Do you actually participate in the investigation of the cases that you're working, or you just look at data?
So usually I'm brought in to look at the historical cell site or another phone-based location information to provide context and show where devices were in reference to specific places at specific times pertinent to the investigation. Sometimes I might be asked for advice about what type of location information can be obtained from certain providers, but that's usually what it's limited to in these types of cases.
You don't participate in interviews or help collect evidence or make any kind of determinations as to how an investigation will proceed, other than maybe requesting additional data that you would need to map locations.
Sure.
All right, let's go through your slides. Beginning with slide 8, you were asked to map cellular location data for the phone number 2633, Mr. Fernandez. And I should say at the beginning of your report, the jurors will have a little easier time. You do them by color coding. So on this map, we're going to have Mario Fernandez is going to be indicated in pink, Mr. Tenon's devices in green and in black, Mr. Biggerstaff's device in blue, and then Mr. Tenon's are going to be those red little bubble dots indicating Google data.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So beginning with slide 8, you were asked to map cellular location information for Mr. Fernandez on January 5th of 2022. First of all, were you provided with timing advance data for this time period?
For January 5th, I don't recall the specific date it cut off, but later in January, I know there was timing advance, and in February we had timing advance.
And if the request for the data was made more than 90 days, like for example, if the police didn't realize this date was significant until 90 days after it had passed, there would not be timing advance available for you to map.
Correct. So as soon as investigators learn of a device, they can only go back 90 days before that to get timing advance. So if there's a date pertinent to the case that falls below that, before that 90th day, that information is going to be have been purged from T-Mobile's systems. So it just won't be available.
So in this map, we're seeing cellular data, which means that we're only going to have data points when a phone is communicating with a tower being used in some manner.
Correct.
So here we see Mr. Fernandez's device has 2 cellular activities for this time frame. Can you describe for the jury what you've mapped?
Yes, this is a visual representation of the cellular network usage of target cell phone 2633 and ping. There's a incoming phone call that went to voicemail at 10:56 a.m. Utilizing the tower and sector just north of the Jacksonville Beach sign on the map, facing to the west. And at 11:51 a.m., the target cell phone utilized the tower and sector just north of the Baptist Medical Center Beaches sign on the map, also facing to the north and west for an outgoing phone call.
And these other green dots that I'm circling here, those indicate the location of other T-Mobile cell towers back in 2022.
Yes.
And when you map cell location towers, towers can change, they can build new towers, move them. Do you always use the tower list from the year that you're mapping?
Yes, we use the tower list closest in time to the time of the incident because the network changes over time.
Moving on to slide 9, we have a map here for a phone number 7612 associated with Henry Tenon and Google location data for henrytenon53@gmail.com for January 5th, 2022. Before we get started, I want to ask about this box up here. That is in reference to Mr. Fernandez's phone number 2633. What does that mean?
Yes, there's no mappable activity for the target cell phone during that time frame with tower sector information.
So we can say this device, the data for this day that was available for you to map, we can say the device is in the Jacksonville Beach area between 10:56 a.m. and 11:51. For this time frame, we have no data to say where that phone's located.
Yeah, so cell site is our snapshots in time. So they show an approximate location. I can show an approximate location based on those usages on the previous slide for those 2 specific points in time.
So for Mr. Tenon's cellular device and his Gmail account, which was linked to one of his cellular phones, can you explain what your mapping indicates to you, in your opinion, based on your training and experience?
So this shows the movement of the target device, the device using the Gmail account, and the target cell phone 7612 in green away from the Tenon residence, the area of the Tenon residence, 5239 Potomac Avenue, south and east, and then east towards the Jacksonville Beach area by 5:57 and 11 p.m. indicated here on the right side of the map.
And this flag you have here corresponds with the legend. That was an address provided to you by detectives in the case.
Correct.
Same with what we're going to call Fernandez residence, the location of interest as Pablo Hamlet, and the location of the crime scene on Sanctuary Boulevard South.
Yes.
And we're getting a more close-up view of Mr. Tenon's Google location data on January 5th. Again, we see this box here. And can you explain again what that means as it relates to this slide?
Yeah, so there's no mappable activity for 2633, the pink phone, during the time frame. And there's no timing advance available during this date due to the retention period and when the records were obtained.
So no cellular data means that there's no user-generated cellular activity at this time frame.
Correct, or incoming activity that would generate cell site.
So 2633 is not making or receiving any calls, sending or receiving any text messages at this time frame.
So with T-Mobile, they don't retain cell site for text messaging. We'd have to look at those records, but for the phone, there's no phone calls incoming or outgoing generating cell site during this time.
In regards to Mr. Tenon's geolocation data, can you explain to the jury your opinion based on your training experience, what is indicated by this slide?
So this shows the movement of the target device accessing henrytenon53@gmail.com moving south between 5:58 and 6:06 p.m. along South 15th Street, and then turning on Fairway Lane.
And these boxes indicate the time for this particular point. So these correspond.
Correct.
Slide number 11. This is going, your arrows indicate reverse. So we're going further along in time. So we see activity going this way, and the next slide, the device appears to be moving back where it came from.
Yes, the blue arrow on the slide I provided shows the direction of movement, and you can see the call out box for each event next to it with the time and the confidence radius assigned by Google to that location.
So explain to me this R3M here, that is a confidence radius. What does that mean as it correlates to these individual points?
Yes, so the point here that you just circled, that it refers to that point just to the north of the Fernandez residence sign on the map at 6:07 and 34 seconds. It means that Google was able to assign a very precise location, a confidence radius to that location of 3 meters. So that device would generally be found somewhere within 3 meters of that latitude and longitude location.
And then here we have from 6:08 to 6:10 p.m. more location data. Can you explain what we're observing in this slide?
So these are locations that were in the location records for Henry Tenon 53 at gmail.com. They show the device between 6:08 p.m. And 6:10:58 seconds. On these, I'm not able to show a confidence radius because the source of, even though one was assigned by Google, the source of the location pull was listed as unknown. So that could mean a variety of things about why it didn't make its way into Google's records, what the source of that location is. But these locations are interspersed with GPS generated locations, Wi-Fi generated locations. And as I reviewed them in totality, they track right along roadways in sequence over time and appear to provide accurate locations for that device.
So data points individually, it's hard to draw conclusions of them. Do you look at the totality of the data and the context in which you're viewing it to draw your conclusions?
Yes.
All right, and then 6:10 to 6:57 on January 5th. Again, we have no activity, cellular activity for 2633. Can you explain what we're seeing in this slide as it relates to Mr. Tenon's cellular device and Gmail account?
So the target device for Henry Tenon 53 at gmail.com and target cell phone 7612 both move back west between 6:10, 6:22, and 6:51 to 6:53, arriving back in this area of just south of the San Marcos sign on the map. You can see a Google location here at 6:51 and 35 seconds, and then a data session for the target cell phone in green at 6:53, utilizing a tower and sector just to the south and west of that more precise Google location. And you can see that tower and sector faces that Google location along Interstate 95 there.
So this is one of those examples of looking at things in totality and context. You have more precise Google locations, data points, but they are corresponding with these kind of less precise tower readings. But in an area like this, because they're both in the same area, you can conclude that the device is moving in this general track.
Yes, the data sets corroborate one another.
Right, they correspond to one another.
Yes.
And then January 5th, again, we have no activity. We have on 1/6 an outgoing call, but no cellular calls to map for this time frame. And we see that the data points are moving back to the location of 5239 Potomac Avenue. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, January 25th, from 2:39 PM to 3:10 PM. We are looking at AT&T records, which are only available as that cell tower location information for Mr. Biggerstaff, as well as the cell location and timing advance for Mr. Fernandez. So here we're seeing, you explain to the jury how timing advance is going to be indicated in these boxes. That's a little bit different than the cellular location information.
Yeah, so in these call out boxes at the top is the CID number. That's a unique identifier for that tower and the side or sector of that tower that was used for each event. And then below that is the date, the time. This number is the azimuth or degrees on a compass that that sector faces that was used for that specific event. And then next to it is TA, that stands for timing advance. And then the distance, the calculated distance that was obtained from the records as calculated by T-Mobile in the records. And that is visually displayed there with the sector on the map.
And what can you tell me about the co-location, if any, between Mr. Biggerstaff's number here in blue and Mr. Fernandez's number here in pink, their devices?
Yes, so Mr. Fernandez's phone arrived in this area at approximately 3:04:56 p.m. You can see indicated here by the timing advance band. And meanwhile, Mr. Biggerstaff's phone between 2:42 and 3:08 p.m. utilized the tower and two sectors on that tower in the vicinity of 2180 Derringer Circle during that time. So then the timing advance at 3:09 and 3:10 shows a calculated distance for that target cell phone during that time that overlaps geographically with the Biggerstaff residence. So it shows potential co-location of those two devices in that area.
And here on your legend, where you have these addresses labeled Fernandez residence and Biggerstaff residence, that is information provided to you by the detectives in this case.
Yes.
And here we go on January 25th. We've got a 3:10 p.m. to 4:24 p.m. and then we have a 4:26 to 5:56 p.m. I'm going to go through both of these and what opinions or conclusions are you drawing as to the potential for co-location from these slides?
Yeah, so remember, we don't have timing advance for the AT&T phone. We just have tower and sector. The blue or AT&T phone for Mr. Biggerstaff was utilizing the two tower and sectors located here in this area near McCormick and Monument Road, just to the east of the Biggerstaff residence at 3:26 and 4:24. Then during this time frame, there's multiple timing advance events with 3 different calculated distance, putting the phone in that the area here defined by 3 timing advance bands during that time. So it shows potential co-location of the 2 devices during that time.
And I guess I should have specified this earlier, but this little blue dot indicates an AT&T tower and this little green dot indicates a T-Mobile tower. So the T-Mobile phone would use this one and AT&T phone would use this one.
Correct.
And then we see here on slide 17, Mr. Fernandez's phone with a timing advance appears to be leaving what's been labeled as a Biggerstaff residence at 2180 Derringer Circle. And his path of travel is consistent with, in your opinion, a return via roadway back to the Jacksonville Beach area.
Yes, ma'am.
And then on January 25th, 6:27 p.m. to 9:23 p.m., what opinions or conclusions can you draw from this?
Yeah, so the target device 6322 in blue remained in the area through the next morning based on the available location information. You can see here and in the call out box to the right, the target cell phone primarily used this tower south of the near Monument and McCormick Road during that time frame.
All right, we're going to talk about January 29th, 2022. And I'm hoping we'll get through this particular date before we break for the day. So that's what I'm going to try to accomplish. On page 19, you were asked to map location data, timing advance data for Mr. Fernandez's phone, cellular location data for 7612 Mr. Tenon's phone and Google data points for Henry Tenon 53@gmail.com. Looking at this slide, and the jury has seen it before, can you offer any opinions based on this data here as to whether those two devices could be correlated being in the same area for an overlapping period of time?
Okay, so just to break it down, the target cell phone 2633 in pink between 2 o'clock, which is this timing advance band here in this tower and sector, is moving into this area and at that point, and closer to the area of the Tenon residence, there's at 202 a timing advance band here with a calculated distance of 0.58 miles from the base of the tower. And then between 205 and 259, the target cell phone maintains these two calculated distances and would be somewhere within these bands between 205 and 259. At 2 o'clock, the target device for Henry Tenon 53@gmail.com is located basically at the Tenon residence location, or is consistent with being at that location. Then by 206 is departing that area, and is at near the intersection of Old Kings Road and Edgewood Avenue. Then at 208, you see cell site usage for 7612 to the east for a data session. And then at 210, a Google location along Martin Luther King Jr. Farther to the east. So between 2 o'clock and 206, Mr. Tenon's phone moved north and east towards Old Kings Road. And between 202 and 205, Mr. Fernandez's phone moved into the same area as the Tenon residence, and it's consistent with potentially being at that location.
So we don't have data for every second or every minute here. The last known point for Mr. Fernandez and location for that corresponds with some of these data points? And again, was this something that the detectives provided to you in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And how is it helpful to you placing some of these don't have that radius, confidence radius? How is something like this helpful to you in coming to conclusions about data overall?
So it, those types of data sets, it's a location for a vehicle, that is assigned to a specific person. So they help corroborate one another.
And looking at this map, what opinions or conclusions can you draw about the location of Henry Tenon 53 at Gmail on his device for this time frame?
That it moved into the area at approximately 2:46 a.m. here near Racetrack Road, and then moved south, and then east along Nocatee Parkway, then south toward Valley Ridge Boulevard, and then south and east along County Road 210.
And I'm sorry, you said AM, you mean PM?
I'm sorry, PM.
Slide 22, we have another license plate reader report, and that also corresponds with one of your data points. Can you tell the jury what conclusions or opinions you can draw from the data on this slide?
So at 2:45 and 13 seconds, the target cell phone moves, and here is located here. It moves into the area, and so again, this is just zoomed in of the previous time frame we were showing the location of the target device.
On this slide, slide 23, we see two areas of interest, and those were provided to you by detectives in this case. One is elite gymnastics at 175 Cumberland Park, and the other is an address that was advised to you to be the location of the deceased victim in this case at 182 Fresno Lane.
Yes.
And can you explain what the data indicates to you from this slide?
So the device remained stationary for a few minutes between 2:56 and 2:59, just east of Interstate 95 along Old County Road 210. I'm sorry, before that, it moved from the north and east near 210 and Beacon Lake Parkway, here, south and west along Old County Road 210.
Slide 24. We have here the area of interest indicated as elite gymnastics. Can you tell us what the data indicates on this slide?
Between 3 o'clock, indicated here along Old County Road 210, where we left off on the previous slide, the target cell phone moves back north and east towards along Old County Road 210, and then turns south, moving towards the elite gymnastics location, moving south of it, and by 3:05 and 53 seconds, and then back north up the same route.
And we see here this data point for geolocation as 3:05:53. The next data point, correct me if I'm wrong, timing wise, would be this 3:06:40
Yes, ma'am.
here, but 3:05, 3:06, and then 3:07, 3:07.
Correct.
Bring back out this way. 3:04 to 3:07 p.m. is just a more close-up view of the data we just looked at.
Yes.
Slide 26, can you explain to the jury what we're looking at here?
So this shows the gross movement or travel of the device accessing Henry Tenon 53 at gmail.com between 3:08 p.m. and 3:47 p.m., moving away from the area of elite gymnastics and the victim residence north back towards the Jacksonville Beach area.
And on that route, we have 3:08 to 3:13. We have an area of interest here. Can you indicate to the jury what the data on this slide is showing you?
So this shows an overview on the slide that the target device moved along the blue dotted hashed line that I'm showing here along County Road 210, and then moved south along Beacon Lake Parkway, stopping here along at this intersection of with Beacon Lake Parkway and Linz or Fresno Court, and then move back north and then north and east away from the area.
And here we have some more data location points showing, I guess, a more zoomed in view and fewer data points from that previous slide. Can you explain what is indicated here?
Yeah, so I just zoomed in and showed a little bit less data points for presentation purposes, and now I'm showing the specific times and confidence radiuses when available for those locations, showing the movement of the target cell phone north and east along County Road 210 west, then south on Beacon Lake Parkway. And then after this point, the phone moves out of it, back north and out of the area.
And here we have in new time order movement from 309, 311, 00, 311, 02. And then here, coming back to this data point, 311, 48.
Yes.
So 48 seconds later.
Yes, ma'am.
So back to 5239 Potomac Avenue during this time frame, we're looking at timing advanced data for Mario Fernandez's cell phone. Can you tell us what is indicated in this slide?
Yes, a lot of data on the left, but this device was receiving a lot of timing advanced signaling during this time frame with 3 different calculated distances ranging from 0.39 to 0.48 miles from the base of the tower between 3:04 and 3:45 p.m. Which overlaps geographically with the tenant residence location. And you can see the shaded area of those 3 bands.
And here we see a bunch of timing advance recorded data, which means what we talked about earlier, your phone communicating without you generating any kind of activity with the tower. Was there any cellular activity, user generated or user received cellular activity for this time frame?
No, ma'am, not during this time.
And then here, Mr. Tenon's Gmail location data, again, corresponding with another license plate reader report. And this is in down here from Ponte Vedra for this LPR hit. And what does this indicate to you?
So this is at 3:37 and 47 seconds on January 29th. There's a Google location nearby, very close at 3:37 and 45 seconds. And then that shows that the phone, the device accessing Henry Tenon 53 continued to move north along 3rd Street and then towards the red flag crime scene location.
And here at 3:43 p.m., we have a Google location point on Sanctuary Boulevard South with a confidence ratio of 4 meters. So can you say with a degree of that plot point is in particular a pretty precise location,
Yes, ma'am.
indicating that Mr. Tenon's device was at Sanctuary Boulevard South at this time period.
Yes.
And then from 3:48 to 4:23, we see, well, you can tell me what we see, but Mr. Tenon's device appears to be traveling back to the vicinity of 5239 Marsh Inlet. I'm sorry, 5239 Potomac Avenue.
Yes, you can see that the target device and 7612 target cell phone in green, they appear to move together. 353 event here, 356 here along JTB or Highway 202, through 403 here near South Point at 95 and JTB. There's a Google location there at 403 as well. Then 409, there's an event from Henry Tenon 53 and also the target cell phone 7612. And then arriving back in the vicinity of the 10 residents at approximately 4:20 p.m. During that time, target cell phone 2633 in pink utilized the same tower and sector that we were looking at before between 3:48 p.m. and 4:23 p.m. For several timing advance events.
And during this time frame, although Mr. Fernandez's phone is recording those timing advance data, was there any user generated or received cellular data for that time frame?
There's no phone calls to map during that time frame.
And here we see that Mr. Tenon's device is located with a confidence ratio of 30 meters at this general location, and you've made that a little bit of a bigger data point. And Mr. Fernandez is in that timing advanced band with a recorded data, at least at 4:20:30 and 4:23:34.
Yeah, so within about 18 seconds, there's a timing advance band of 0.44 miles, which is roughly the same distance that the tenant residence is from the tower.
And here we see, I guess, a more close-up view of that.
Yes.
And we see that they are co-located, potentially the device is co-located for a time period of at least 3 minutes. And then here on slide 33, we see the pink phone belonging to Mr. Fernandez beginning to travel away from the residence. Can you describe for us the route of travel?
Yes, ma'am. The phone moved south and east along Highway 23 through the downtown Jacksonville area, and then across the St. Johns River, Matthews Bridge, between 4:25 and 4:37 p.m. Apologize, I accidentally drew that large.
Can you describe to me what this box means? You have both the pink and the green in one box.
During that time, both target cell phones, again, about 3 minutes apart, 4:21 and 4:24, both target cell phones use the same tower and same sector.
And then we see that Mr. Fernandez's phone moved from this band to this band with a reading here at 4:25.
Yes.
And that gets us through January 29th. Your Honor, in terms of scheduling, does the jury need a break? Yes.
Okay.
I thought that might be the answer.
All right. How much longer do you think? Should we take a shorter break so you can finish up the day?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take 5 minutes, just refresh yourselves really quick, and you can buzz when you're ready to come back out.
Agent, do you need a break? You want to step out for just a moment?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, please let the record reflect that the jury's left the courtroom. Agent, you can step outside real quick and refresh yourselves. Just don't talk about your testimony, okay?
Right. I'd rather just let it.
Thank you. All right, welcome back, everyone. May be seated. Members of the jury, just so that you know, for scheduling, we're going to try to totally complete the direct examination of Agent Blythe. Okay, so go ahead and continue.
All right, Agent Blythe. So we took a short break. Let's just top to bottom, just a short recap. January 29th. We have indication that Mr. Tenon's devices traveled from 5239 Potomac down to the Nocatee area, past two areas of interest to include elite gymnastics, and onto Fresnel Lane, which is the same lane where the victim's residence was indicated to you. Up.
Okay, ask a question.
Why don't you do the recap for me, Agent Blythe? We had a little break. Let's refresh on January 29th, and then we'll move on to the next date. Can you tell us overall the path of travel of Mr. Tenon's device? And then I'll ask you about Mr. Fernandez's devices during this time frame.
Yes, during the time frame, to recap, the target cell phone moved and the device accessing Henry Tenon 53 at gmail.com moved from the Potomac Avenue location south towards the area of the two locations of interest, the elite gymnastics and the Fresnel Lane in the beach walk area there. And then the target device moved north to the area of the crime scene and then back to the Potomac Avenue residence area.
And during this time period, we see on slide 29, can you summarize what the data on this slide indicates to you in terms of Mr. Fernandez's device?
So numerous timing advance events between 3:04 to 3:45, showing that target cell phone is in the same geographic area as the Tenon residence during that time frame.
And we see slight different measurements on some of these data points. Does that necessarily mean that the device is moving?
Not necessarily. So the timing event signaling goes to and from the phone, and is the distance calculated comes in increments of 78 meters, and so it can be rounded up. And so you can have a device sitting stationary and get timing advance measurements, one or two bands around that location.
And the distances here, the difference between them, we're talking 0.04, 0.05. But that doesn't necessarily indicate the phone is moving that distance back and forth.
No, ma'am.
Is there anything else that you think, based on your analysis of these slides, that I've failed to ask you about this particular date?
No.
Great, thank you. We'll move on to the slides you did for activity on February 15th, 2022. Slide 34, we have timing advance data for 2633, Mr. Fernandez's phone, cellular data for 7612, Mr. Tenon's phone, and some of those Google location points for Henry Tenon 53. Can you tell us what we're looking at in this slide, slide 34?
Yes, this shows the movement of target cell phone 2633 in pink north along Highway 23 from 931 to 932 to 934 here. Then at 937, excuse me, this one is 948, 937, the target cell phone was had this calculated distance, and then at 944 through 945 is here. You see this timing advance band at 948 and another two more at 947 and 958 in this area around the Tenon residence. During that time frame at 931, a few minutes before the 934 event with the pink phone, you have for 7612, Mr. Tenon's phone, a incoming call using the same tower and sector that Mr. Tenon's phone, excuse me, that Mr. Fernandez's phone used at 934. And between 931 and 957, there's 9 events with less than 200-meter confidence radius in this area along Highway 23, south of Edgewood Avenue.
Slide 35, we have the same date, February 15th, 2022, but a different time frame, 4:03 p.m. to 4:59 p.m. And can you explain to the jury what the data on this slide indicates to you?
So it shows that target cell phone 2633 between 4:03 and 4:55 p.m. Was located between 0.39 and 0.53 miles from the base of the tower in the area indicated by these 4 timing advance bands. And during the same time frame between 4 to 4:29.25 seconds, the target cell phone displayed 5 events with less than 70-meter radius, showing the device was at or near the tenant residence location, and then moved starting at 4:34 away from the tenant residence. You can see this at 4:34, 4:40 here near Old Kings Road and Edgewood Avenue, 4:45 south of Old Kings Road near West 19th Street, and so on. And then returning back towards the direction of the tenant residence by 4:59 near Shannon, the Shannon sign on the map.
And again, like the slide on the 29th, do the presence of multiple bands here indicate or necessarily mean that that phone is moving distances back and forth?
It could, but it may not be.
And here we see that there is some period of overlap potentially of these devices such that could you reasonably conclude there's some co-location going on here?
Potential co-location, yes.
And for how long of a time frame would you be comfortable saying?
So certainly between 4 and 4:29.
We're going to move to the date of the homicide, February 16th, 2022. And we have timing advance data for Mr. Fernandez's cell phone. And here we see some movement. Can you describe for the jury what we're viewing here?
So this is showing timing advance bands from from 2 different towers for target cell phone 2633. The tower here is indicated with the call out box to the right, events between 5:03 and 5:11 p.m. Those events are the bands drawn here. And you can also see 2 events from the tower located near the Oceanfront Park sign on the map at 5:03 p.m., 1.02 miles from the base of the tower that intersects with the other bands. When you have timing advance bands that intersect geographically, that are close in time, that's where you're going to find the phone, is at that area of intersection.
So intersection gives you some more precise location than just bands would.
Yes.
Can you make any conclusions from this slide as to where the device was most likely located during this time frame?
It was during this time frame. You can see that it's most of the bands, and you have the area of intersection in this area. Most likely the phone is located in this area during most of the time frame, and towards the end of the time frame, the target cell phone utilized these bands a little bit closer to the tower, 0.53 miles from the base of the tower, between 5:10 and 5:11.
Given that I expect to crop in tomorrow, is there a way to preserve a screenshot? I can take a picture of it.
No, I think you want him to draw it again. Could you re-annotate?
Between 5:03 to approximately 5:10, target cell phone most likely be found in this area of overlap of timing advance. Then 5:10 to 5:11, it appears moved a little bit to the east. It's located at a calculated distance 0.53 miles from the base of the tower.
Can you see that? It's red. AJ, is there a way to change the color for the witness? No. Okay. All right.
Can I erase it? February 16th, 5:13 and 5:19 PM. We see some movements of bands. Can you describe what we're looking at in this slide?
Yeah, so this time frame starts at 5:13 with the phone at 0.63 miles from the base of the tower, which is this closest one that crosses the sector and is on top of the Fernandez residence location at this point on the band. And then you see the next event, the ending event of that is at 0.68, which is the next one farther away from the base of the tower here. Then at 5:15 and 42 seconds, there's the band farther at 1.12 miles from the base of the tower. There's timing advance events from a adjacent tower, and the the long and short of it is that it appears that the target cell phone was moving to the east, excuse me, west, I'm sorry, based on those timing advance events.
We're seeing in slide 36 and 37, are you mapping all of the timing advanced data points for this particular time frame?
During that particular time frame, yes.
And we see here there's pretty consistent 5:03, 5:03, 5:03, 5:06, 5:06, 5:06, 5:07. Oh, sorry, Melanie. Sorry, Miss Simpkins. 5:03, 5:03, 5:03, 5:06, 5:06, 5:06, 5:07, 4 or 5 times, 5:08, 5:10, 3 times, 5:11. So, and on slide 37, we're also seeing every minute or so, we're getting a timing advanced recordation. Is there any rhyme or reason to how a network, how often they take these measurements?
So it depends on the market. It depends on the provider. The technology is generally the same between providers, but it may function slightly differently as far as timing, depending on the provider, depending on the network. And it's a network engineering data set, and it's there to help optimize the network and troubleshoot problems on the network. As a byproduct, it provides this calculated distance that the phone was from the base of the tower, which provides a much more precise location. So it's not going to be necessarily at regular intervals. It can be initiated by phone calls, text messages, data sessions. And when a device begins to move, there's generally, in my experience, begins to be more signaling with the phone when a device begins to move.
If there's regular timing, let me ask you this question too. You don't need to be actively using your phone for timing advance to be recorded. Does the network record these timing advance calculation if a phone is off?
No.
If you place your phone into airplane mode, would the network collect this timing advance data measurement?
No.
February 16th, between 5:21 and 5:45, we see an indication up top that not all timing advance is displayed.
Yes.
And is there a particular reason you don't display all of them?
Due to the volume, it's difficult to display and also represent the date, time, and distance in the call-out boxes around it in an understandable way. So this is in an effort to try to simplify it for presentation purposes.
And in this particular slide, what are we seeing in terms of this data? What does it indicate?
So you can see timing events between 5:21 and 5:45, showing the target cell phone in this area near Beach Boulevard, between just east of the Intercoastal Waterway, between 5:21 and 5:30, and then with the 1 represents this tower and sector located closest to the yellow flag and the residence flag, the Fernandez residence. And those are the events between 5:29 and 5:44. You can see the first event at 5:29 is this event here, and then the phone moves south and east utilizing the sector facing the 2 locations at 5:36 and 5:45. Those are the 2 bands depicted here near the yellow and residence flags.
What conclusions, if any, can you draw from that data?
The phone moved back towards the vicinity of those 2 locations, the yellow and residence flag.
And here we see kind of a close-up of some of that data. Is there anything else that you need to say about this slide, or is this just close-up of what we kind of previously went through?
It's just close up and trying to specifically identify each of those bands with the specific date, time, and distance. So you can see these areas of intersection between 5:21 and 5:29, and then the phone uses these 2 bands at 5:36 and 5:45.
And the timeframes you're asked to map, that comes from just the request that you're given.
Yes, the timeframes that's relevant to the investigation.
And is it best practice to give data more context and map a bigger time frame than necessarily, if you have a crime that occurs in 1 minute, is it kind of better to give you context and draw opinions to map a larger time period in order to draw more accurate conclusions from that data?
Yeah, so the timeframes I map is very case dependent and the circumstances dependent. Also, generally I want to see where the device was before, during, and after an incident.
We have here timing advanced data on slide 40 between 5:46 and 6:35 p.m. And what does the data indicate to you on this slide?
There's 2 towers, the target with timing advanced signaling with 2633, the target cell phone in pink. It begins at 5:46 with an event utilizing tower in sector 68009 with the timing advanced measurement here just to the south. That crosses visually just to the south of the residence flag. Then it's from 6:06 to 6:35. There's a number of several timing advanced signaling events, 0.68 to 0.73 miles from the base of the tower, and 1 incoming phone call using the same tower and sector for the target device. So target cell phones in the same geographic area as the 2 locations depicted, the Fernandez residence and the location of interest.
On this call out box here, we see that there is an incoming call. Does that indicate that this phone was using the cell tower to make calls using cellular data?
Yes.
And here we have 7:09 and okay. So the last timing advanced measurement we have for this particular device is 6:35:39 p.m. On the next slide, can you explain to the jury what you mean here when we're talking in this call out box about the availability of timing advanced or other cellular data to map?
Sure. So at 7:09 and 7:10, you see 2 beginning and ending event with the same calculated distance mapped visually here using this tower and sector to the east of the 2 locations. On the left, describing the cellular activity during that time frame. There's 3 events from 7 p.m. to 7:59 p.m. Related to timing advance and calls. So 1 incoming call with no duration, at 7:09:52. So then no outgoing or incoming text messages between 4:26 p.m., which was an outgoing text message, and 6:29 p.m., which was an incoming text message. The next event in the call detail records after 7:09 and 52 seconds is a 10:46 p.m. text message. No data sessions with cell site appeared in the records during this time frame depicted on the map.
So this is important, and I want to take a little bit of time with it. We see here that there's one incoming call at 6:08, and we have timing advanced records until 6:35 p.m. The next slide, you indicate that other than this 6:08 incoming call, that there's one other call at 7:09, and that you reviewed. Does this mean here when you say no incoming or outgoing text messages between 4:26 to 6:29, and then again until, I'm sorry, 7. I'm trying to ask this in a better way. I'm going to go step by step. So you looked at the call log records themselves.
Yes, the raw records.
Yes. Can you describe for me what the cellular activity of this phone is during this time frame? We're getting timing advanced, which is generated by the network. It doesn't mean you have to use your phone. What user generated or user received activity is there on this phone for these time periods?
So the last outgoing text message at 4:26 p.m. There's another incoming text message at 6:29. There's no cell site for that, so I can't map those two. The next event is that call with no duration at 7:09:52, and then there's nothing else until 10:46 when there's a text message.
So this slide here, the only activity for this phone from 6:35 p.m. and then I'll get to the next slide through 8:19 p.m. are these two timing advanced measurements at 7:09 and 7:10.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's no incoming or outgoing text messages for this time frame or incoming or outgoing phone calls past 7:10 p.m.
No, not till the text message at 10:46.
Going to the next slide, we have from 7:11 p.m. to 8:19 p.m. we have no timing advanced records for this cell phone. Is that accurate?
Correct.
And we see here, what can you tell us about any cellular usage? I know you did it last slide, but for this time frame, are there any incoming or outgoing text messages or data sessions or phone calls coming in and out?
No, not between 4:26 and 6:29, and then nothing else until the 10:46, and there's no data sessions with cell site during this time frame.
So from the time frame between 10:28 p.m. and our next slide, 8:20 p.m., can you draw any conclusions about the location of these devices?
So no, in the absence of location information, I can't show the location of the phone. I can see where it picks up on the next slide, and during that time in between, the phone could have traveled any distance one could travel and get back to the location that's going to be where the cell site picks back up, or it could have stayed there that time. I don't know. So there's snapshots in time, and they show you the location of the phone during those specific times.
Slide 43, we have timing advanced, again recording beginning at 8:20 p.m. with no timing advanced records again until 8:48, and then we have 8:48, 8:52, 8:55, 8:58, 8:59, 8:48, and we see some tower activity. Can you tell us what this slide indicates to you?
Yes, the target cell phone, especially at 8:48, is at or near the area of intersection between the two timing advance bands, and the target cell phone's in the same geographic area as the two locations of interest, the location of interest and the Fernandez residence.
Okay. Agent Blythe, on February 16th, we're seeing that there are timing advance records available for Mr. Fernandez's phone and multiple timing advance records. For this particular date, we see here on slide 36, I think over 15 different timing advance recordations in a span of 11 minutes. We see multiple timing advance recordations in the span of 6 minutes for this phone. Between 5:21 and 5:45, you didn't even map all of them because of the number of timing advance recordations. Then we see here multiple intersecting bands on page 39. And we see 606, 608, 608, 608, 635,
Correct.
545 on page 40. And then we have from 535 till 709, 710, we have no timing advance records. And we skip ahead to 8:20 p.m. We pick back up with timing advance recordations. I understand data by itself can't lead you to draw any conclusions, but what can you tell me about the lack of data for this, given the amount of timing advance data both before and after this time period?
Council did a whole representation back, question. Yeah, that same question. And like, where the answer, boom, they go, you're not wrong. Snapshot time.
Okay. I'll overrule the objection. You can answer.
So it points towards no connection with the cellular network during that time frame, in that there's no data sessions with cell site. There's a periods without the text messages that we looked at those times, no phone calls, and there's absence of timing advance. There can be time frames where timing advance isn't recorded on a network, and I can't. It can seem almost continuous. And you can see the numerous events that there were before and then moving forward afterwards, but there's this period of time. So you have to look at it, the totality, and you can, look at the amount of data activity, call activity, and see how much or little a person is using a phone. But at the end of the day, T-Mobile has their record retention and they operate the timing advance system. So I can't say exactly why there's no timing advance during that time frame. But one possible reason is the phone being powered off or airplane mode during a specific period of time.
You can't say with certainty that's what it is. It could be network connection issues. It could be user generated by turning off or putting it in airplane mode.
Correct. So yeah, whether it could be either one.
But there is multiple timing advance and cellular activity both before and after this specific time frame, which there is none. And although you can't say why that is, there is activity both before and after this time frame.
Correct. And we saw the time frames where the phone was, appeared to be stationary, no calls, map during those time frames, and there's still, timing advance being recorded.
This just happens to be the time of the homicide.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to turn your attention to the mapping you did that evening for the phone number and Gmail account for Henry Tenon. And we have locations between 5 p.m. and 5:56 for 7612 and Henry Tenon 53 at Gmail. And I think the jury's probably experts by now at reading these slides. So these ones we can go a little bit more quickly through. Can you please explain to me what the data indicates to you about these devices?
So it's a visual representation of the cellular network usage for target cell phone 7612 in green and the Henry Tenon 53 target device. Between 5 and 5:49, the target device has 30 locations displayed there, right on top of the Tenon residence. Then at 5:50 through 5:57, the target cell phone begins to move south and east away from the Tenon residence along Highway 23 and then Highway 1.
And that's a close-up of those 30 locations, just indicating that that's a lot of data points in one specific area that all sort of correspond to each other.
Yes, and they're visually, their confidence radiuses or touch or on top of the Tenon residence during that time frame.
And then here we see between, is there data, geolocation data or cellular activity for 7612 following these two slides?
Yes.
Is there a gap in that data?
There's a time frame where there's no cell site location information until later.
And we see here indicated in this call box up here on page 44. Does that give the jury some kind of indication of those timeframes without data?
Yes, there's no data activity for 7612 from 5:57 p.m. To 9:13 p.m. So that's data sessions. That's the phone's access to the World Wide Web. There's no calls after 5:53 until 9:18 p.m. 5 minutes after you start to see data sessions again. And there's no activity for Henry Tenon 53 between 5:57 and 8:39 p.m.
And similar to what we were just talking about, could that indicate someone who has turned off their phone and put it into airplane mode?
Yes.
Could it also indicate something outside the user's control?
Possibly, but just to have, all three of those off, we don't have timing advance, so we can't look at that, but that points me as an investigator towards the phones off or in airplane mode during that time.
Particularly because on other slides, Mr. Tenon's phone number and Gmail seem to be able to record data in the same, in the path of travel, at least part of it that we know that he probably took that night.
Yes,
On the
ma'am.
29th, when he leaves his home, he's taking geolocation data all throughout this area, and then later we know his location data here. Does that give any illumination as to your opinion on whether his phone was off or in airplane mode versus just happened to have connectivity issues during this time frame?
So yeah, I mean, we take our phones with us, we use them. They are collecting cell site location information when we make phone calls, when we use data. When generally that's happening periodically when we're using the phone. If you see an absence of those things, it points towards the phone's not connected to the network for whatever reason. And so whether that be off or airplane mode, and Google can continue to collect location information, even if you put it in airplane mode. So and then transmit that back once you turn the transmitter back on.
Okay, so the next the next voice data and Google location data for Mr. Tenon's cell phones and the timing advance data for Mr. Fernandez's cell phones are indicated here on slide 46 for the time frame between 8:59 p.m. and 9:23 p.m. I'm going to start with Mr. Tenon's devices. Can you explain to me what the data on this slide indicates about his voice device 7612 and Henry Tenon 53 at Gmail?
Yeah, so target cell phone 7612 utilize the tower and sector near the 2nd Avenue sign on the map, the sector facing to the south and east towards the yellow flag and the residence flag for 2 incoming phone calls at 9:18 and 9:23. One of those phone calls was with his other cell phone attributed to him in this investigation. And the Henry Tenon 53 Gmail is moving into this area from the south during this time frame, starting at 9:01 here near the 5th Avenue and 9th sign, and moving north and then west towards these locations at 9:15, 9:19, and then ultimately 9:23, which is on top of the timing advance band at 9:23. So well within the coverage area for the tower and sector for this tower and sector used by 7612.
We're going to talk about his other phone number 0513 on February 16th. And I'll come back to this slide when we're finished with that discussion. But he had 2 phone numbers, 0513 and 7612. We saw 7612 mapped earlier, and now we're mapping here 0513. And can you indicate to me what data was available for this phone that you're mapping here?
So for this phone, we had call detail records with cell site. So we're just going to be able to show tower and sector based on phone call activity. And here I'm displaying a phone call that went to voicemail at 2:12 p.m. using the tower and sector to the south of the tenant residence location.
And here on February 16th, between 8:40 and 9:23 p.m., we see that there is cellular activity on this phone. Can you describe for the jury what this slide indicates to you?
So the first activity at 8:40 is the target cell phone using a tower in sector here near the 9th Street sign on the map, facing south towards JTB, and then the device begins to use at 8:45 and 9:03 the tower in sector to the north near the Jacksonville Beach sign on the map, facing to the south and west, and then the tower along Beach Boulevard, the sector facing south towards the location of interest in the Fernandez residence for a phone call at 9:23 p.m. And you can see that's the phone call with his other phone.
So as this device is moving and utilizing these towers, we see that it is actually attempting to contact Henry Tenon's other device.
Yes.
And here for these same time periods, do you have any opinion as to the geolocation data and how it corresponds to that 0513 number based on the mapping you completed here?
It appears to be moving north with the target cell phone 0513, and then it's co-located, it's in the same area as both phones at 923.
Would you feel comfortable making an opinion as to if those phones were separated at some point during this time frame?
It appears that they were separated and came back together between 8:40 and 9:23.
And then here we have Mr. Fernandez's phone showing timing advance records between 9:11 p.m. on February 16th and 1:59